this is the golden opportunity to go for a game. There's no time better than now. So let's go for it and give them that final rush. Hey yo, how's it going everyone? Entropy here today with another video. Today we're going to be doing a dev profile on one of the latest clan events, SpikeBrothers. I know some of you want me to do a Mirakumo one. I might be able to do that depending on how I do with my drops, but my priority is with the Spike Bros. I've always really enjoyed their play, and I really only got to try them through Zero, and I really enjoyed them so far. I can't wait to show you the newest addition to the Spike Brother clan. And I guess without further ado, let's talk about the list. So, if you recognize this list, it's because, well, probably two reasons. One, it is identical to different fights lists. So I have to put that disclaimer. I watched his videos too, as you should too, or as I expect you to have as well. And you know, I looked into other lists as well, and I honestly think that his approach is the approach that suited me the most. You know, I do agree with his picks, but you know, I hope that this video can kind of explain some of the plays better, or my opinion on certain gameplay you know, paths. You know, another thing is, I guess maybe you check out my community feeds. So if you don't do that already, you know, you can check out the channel, the community page. And sometimes I you know, write some stuff about my thoughts, opinions, or my progress in the games, and you can follow me there too. So I guess without further ado, let's talk about the list. Starting off with, we have Mecha Trainer. Mecha Trainer CB1, retire this to get a grade 1 or less card from the deck to your hand. It's the Conroe clone. It's a great card, helps you search for PG primarily, but there are other pieces as well. I've also tested the grade 3 Searcher. Reason being is if you don't get the break grind, the deck does suffer quite a bit. The thing is though, I do think that the Mecha Trainer gives you that edge because it guarantees you that PG. It means that you don't mind pushing your opponent to 4 or like later down the line before you go for your play. Which means that even if you do miss the break ride, you can still just go for the Legion. If your opponent's at 4 or 5, you know, I still think that there's a lot of pressure and you can still seal off games like that. So all in all, I mean, Mecha Trainer is just more consistent. It's also 1 more K as a booster. So I think there is just more merits to Mecha Trainer to me. Not having to check top 5 and hope to see a grade 3 is and you know, just guaranteed to pick whatever grade 1 or less you want from your deck is definitely my preferred option. But I definitely think that you should definitely try the grade 3 Searcher as well, see which one works better for you. For PGs, we're playing the new PGs, the one without the additional condition. Reason being is because we are playing the break ride, we do want LB4, and we don't want to be damage denied. So definitely play this one, not the old one. We play 4 Reckless Express. Reckless Express is there as a 7k booster, and in the front row it's Solas 1 plus 5, so it's 12. With the Legion, you know, it hit and the break ride, it hits big numbers, so definitely very nice. But definitely, you know, it's able to swing for 12 by itself. Sometimes you don't want to be committing so much for spikes, so it's definitely very helpful. We play 4 Commander Gary Gannon, so this is, you know, your Airmo clone, right? On boost, discard 1, draw 1. It's solid. It helps you filter and search for your pieces, especially you really want to mulligan hard for your break ride. You definitely do want to be able to search for your break ride or the Legion as you're progressing closer and closer to grade 3 and turn 4 and turn 5 and turn 6. So Gary Gannon, definitely very helpful, helps you discard some useless cards, and helps you get into the pieces that you might need. Dudley Daisy we play as 1 because it has a Dudley name. Superior Call, kind of +1 +5, not really super relevant honestly, but it can come in handy sometimes, I guess, especially when you're top decking this with one of our 4 Devil Summoners. So this card's actually really key. Devil Summoner, it's a 7k, you know, it's a Transriser clone. On place Vanguard Reader Circle, reveal the top card. If it's a grade 2 or less, call it. If not, shuffle the deck. It's a really great card. I wish it just guaranteed the top call, but it doesn't, because this game, you know, in this deck, you don't really care. You just summon whatever, you just smack, and then you go back to the deck anyways. Devil Summoner 7k base body is even less of a detriment right now because of the power scaling that the Break Ride and the Legion gives you. So definitely very valuable. One of the key pieces that you will be superior calling from your deck when you do your combos. So definitely want 4. Even in the early game, Devil Summoner, as a ride if you're going first, or calling it to the rear guard and just filling up your board without committing too much. It's very, very important. You definitely have to play 4. Next, we play 4 of the Frozen OGLE, another really key piece in the combo. At the end of this battle, this unit attack the Vanguard during the turn your Legion. Kind of must want to put this to your soul, call another unit other than Frozen OGLE, which generally speaking will be your Devil Summoner from your deck. If you want to scale though, you can simply call Silver Blaze, which gets plus 10k if you Soul Blast and attack a Vanguard when you're in Legion state. And another thing that's good about Silver Blaze is that it's like the Bracky skill. It just goes to bottom of the deck after the battle. So even the turn after you Legion, you can then use Silver Blaze and then make space for your Legions to still do something, even if you can't re-Legion. Lastly, we play 3 Dudley Mason, primarily for the Dudley name, but definitely on hit. Cast to put a card into your soul to call any deck from your deck to your open rearguard circle. Combo extender again. It's very nice. Handmass 2 is a bit expensive, but when it comes in handy, it comes in really handy, and it's really the better Dudley Grade 2. Much prefer Dudley Mason than the 9+5. So definitely play this, and at worst case scenario, it's a 9k vanilla, and intercepts that you can search for. So that's nice. Next up, we play 4 of the Break Ride, Bad End Dragger. With your Break Ride plus 10 and all your front row gets plus 10k, at the end of the battle they attacked, put them to the bottom of the deck, and when boosted plus 3. So it gives you that extra 10k to the front row. So even stuff like your boosters or whatever, you can toss it up. Gary Gannon 16k, Silver Blaze 1929 maybe. So that's really, really nice. And it combos really, really well with Bloody OGLE. This is your main grade 3. During your turn you Legion, when your rearguard attacks it gets plus 5. So it's slightly different. The Break Ride gives passive plus 10 to the front row. Bloody OGLE says when they attack it gives plus 5, so be careful when you're doing the numbers. I know when I played this game, this deck, the first game, I was like, where's the plus 5? But when you initiate the attack, you will get the plus 5. In addition, when this unit attacks Vanguard, Handmass 2, put a card from your hand into your soul to call any card from your deck to an empty rearguard circle. So the first skill is only during the turn you Legion. The second skill does not require that. You don't even need to be in Legion state. So that's something to consider, and the reason why we do play Silver Blaze, because, if you can't finish your opponent off and somehow you survive, because maybe you have like multiple PGs, then definitely the next turn, Silver Blaze helps you open up that rearguard circle and helps you do one last attempt, one last dive to get that touchdown. And lastly, we play 4 Jelly Beans in your hand. Return this to your deck to add a grade 2 or less Dudley from your hand, from your deck to your hand, which is the Mason or the Daisy. Most of the time it will be the Mason. And lastly, we play 1 Skydiver. It is a tech option. It helps you extend your combos on hit. Since your Break Ride Legion combo gives your front row plus 15, Skydiver get 26. And whatever it calls out can probably scale up with that 15 and hit numbers too. So, one of the issues with multi-attacking in Vanguard 0 is always about hitting those numbers. And SpikeBrothers solved that problem by just constantly pumping your rearguards with steroids. So that's basically it. Comment down below, let me know what kind of techs have you made that made the deck work better for you. Are you interested in SpikeBrothers in the first place? Maybe you're just interested in seeing how the deck plays out. But let me know down below, and let's go into a few games and see how this deck performs on ladder. So definitely one of the very popular decks on ladder right now. I'm seeing it really, really frequently. The mirror matches are really, really fun. If you're watching this because you don't play spikes or you want to get into spikes, one of the issues with the deck is, it is a glass cannon deck, right? It's do or die. You sometimes have to just make the push or else it's game over. Timing is crucial, as it always was. Before, it might have been worse because, if you push your opponent to 4, the Break Ride turn is really, really pivotal. But nowadays, just giving your opponent the Legion or the countermass they need, that could seal the game. So it is a slightly different in terms of the timing and everything, but it's still, you really still need to be cautious and conscious of how you play and proceed accordingly. So here we're going second. I'm going to dunk the PGs. I do want to draw into the Break Ride, but that's okay. We do have the Ganon to help us filter. And we can always Mega Trainer into PG anyways, so that's fine. One thing to note is CB is important. You know, your Vanguard needs CB2, your mate needs CB1, and you know, the Mason requires CB2. So don't overuse Counterblast because you never know when you'll need it. And always be cautious. Always be cautious. So here, I think I'm just gonna ride Reckless Express. Call out the Gary Gannon, and we're gonna just start hitting and filtering. Draw trigger is nice. Drawing into PG is solid. So I'm just gonna discard the Gary Gannon. I think it's fine. You know, one of the other things if you're playing against Spikes is that they don't have retire. So I'm fine leaving the Mecha Trainer until I really need it. You know, a 5k booster is actually not bad. In terms of grade 1 Ryan targets is probably the Daisy or the Reckless Express. Gary Gannon is fine as well if you have another one. But the Gary Gannon is quite vital. Grade 2s, Mason is a solid ride option. If you're going first, then the Devil Summoner is solid too because you can bully those 7k grade 1s. But other than that, definitely the mate, I do want to save at least one in my hand because the Frozen OGLE is very good, especially when your opponent doesn't have the double intercept setup. So here we can search for a PG. I don't know if we need to yet. I think I'm just going to call out the Reckless Express. And we're just going to do 12 and then a 15. They killed the Reckless Express, that's fine, you know. Reckless Express has been a bit reckless anyways. But I don't feel like using the Jelly Beans too early because, well, at the end of the day, we do want to save those, to take those damage to get to LB4. I mean, in the case just now, we don't have the Break Ride, but we just drew into it, so all is good. And also, we don't want to overcommit too much of our intercepts because it is hard to come by in Spikes. You know, we don't have a lot of cards that draw. We do have cards that Superior Call, but there is generally a one-to-one cost. You know, we're trading a Mecha Trainer for a PG. We're trading a card from my hand to a card from the deck. And the only ways you can really extend that is through you know, a bloody OGLE play. Not even that. That's putting a card into your soul to Superior Call something. It really is just relying on Devil Summoner to help you plus. And that does feel different if you're used to playing other decks, and I totally understand that because I feel it myself too. So we're just gonna ride the Break Ride. It's a shame we don't have the ride animation, but we're playing Chad Danji, so we good on that end. Don't really feel the need to use the Jelly Beans as well. I feel like I'm just gonna call this here, and I'm just gonna call this. Might save this one for later. I think I'm just gonna swing like this. Just hold my horse. And wait for a better timing, because if we commit the grade 2 here and our opponent just hits the 2 rearguards and just deals 1 damage to the Vanguard, we're at 3, they're at 4 maybe, and we still can't do the kill turn. So here we're just kind of baiting them to give us that LB4. 3 to 6ing, it's rough, but it's possible, right? Like obviously if your opponent's at 4 or 5, it makes the combo much more devastating. You know, you have less defensive to worry about. You need 1 less attack to actually reach lethal. But sometimes, especially in this mirror match, sometimes it is really about knowing where your opponent's well positioned in. So they do choose to play the Emerald Blaze. Emerald Blaze is a solid card, I'd say, but definitely not something that Spikes needs at this moment. It's a bit slow. You need to Persona Soul Charge, I guess, Persona, and it just doesn't do enough. It's more balanced, like Deadly Emperor, but that's not what we're looking for. You know, Spikes is all about that all in or nothing, and you know, if you're not ready to play that, then you're not ready to play Spikes, definitely. Another thing about Silver Blaze is then you do need to commit to finding a way to, you know, get empty rearguard circles. I mean, the Break Ride's still fine, but if you're playing the Break Ride, you might as well just play the bloody OGLE approach anyways, because the good thing about Emerald Blaze is that you get to keep the rearguard, and unfortunately the Break Ride does force you to put it back to the bottom of the deck. So it doesn't really synergize that well, honestly. Emerald Blaze is better by itself because it's more balanced, but it is harder to proc, and it doesn't just do enough in this meta game, honestly. So here our opponent's thinking, do they do it, do they not? They don't even have two open front row rear guards. You know, they can call up booster to actually have that other column hit, but chooses the Devil Summoner to superior call to replace the grade 3, alright. Can respect that. Jumbo, the shotgun helps you countercharge, and the heal trigger comes in play. That's big, you know. So heal trigger is always good. So here, you know, we're at 4. Am I comfortable using the Break Ride? No, I'm not really comfortable using the Break Ride. Do they want to use the grade 1? So this is a card we used to use, Wild Hitter, but it is prone to RNG, and again, it's something like we have a lot more options nowadays, so definitely not something that is super necessary. 2 to 6ing when your opponent has 2 intercepts is hard. It's hard. I think I'm just gonna leave it. You know what? I'm just gonna Devil Summoner. See if we can top it. Nice. That's a grade 2. Solid. I will use this to search for a PG. Better safe than sorry, honestly, at this point of the game. And I will call out. I will use the Jelly Beans. Now, if we see a heal, then we heal back down to 3, and let's do this. If we heal, we're healing back down to 3. We have 2 intercepts. Unless our opponent chooses to just not attack with a rear guard, then we'll still be put at 4. And when your opponent's at 3 to 6ing is definitely much more feasible than 2 to 6ing. So that is the play that I opted with. Here we can choose to discard the Jelly Beans. We do still have search targets, so I am just gonna leave it like this. I think the 2 PGs, the 2 intercepts, it's fine. And you know, some builds don't play the Jelly Bean because they think it's too slow. You'd rather have more consistency in terms of the grade 3 combo. Maybe you're playing 4 Deadly Emperors instead. Definitely something that you can choose. Definitely an approach that I've tried as well. I do think that what Jelly Beans does is Jelly Beans gives me those intercepts that I need to position myself better in the early and mid game. Being able to search for that one-off booster is also really nice sometimes. And so I still choose to play the Jelly Beans. But honestly, if you prefer to value the consistency of having the Break Ride turn, definitely you can try 4 Deadly Emperors as well. I don't really recommend the Emerald Blaze because, again, it is not that consistent. You do need to Persona a copy of the same name. But yeah, so here we can choose to just, you know, grade 2 again for 1 turn and then wait for our opponent to be 4. But can we 2 intercepts and 3 to 6? We know our opponent has the PG. I think maybe waiting 1 more turn is fine. I think maybe waiting for 1 more turn is fine. Let's just Jelly Beans first. You know, I'd rather whiff with Devil Summoner than not be able to than stop myself from being able to Jelly Beans. That's nice. Attacking the Vanguard first. So if we see a draw trigger, that's 1 extra option to filter. So unfortunately, that is the heal. Do we want to filter though? I think we're fine. We have 1 PG. Maybe I'll ditch 1. Another 1. That's not good. So one thing is that a lot of your rear guards just bounce back to the bottom of the deck, so you can always just bounce them to the bottom and then just call it back out, right? Note that the Frozen OGLE does go into your soul, so unless you have a way to soul blast it, it is hard to take it back into your deck. And one thing is, during your Legion, if you somehow watch to this part, I really appreciate it. If you Legion, most of the time I actually choose not to Legion back my triggers. The reason being is I don't need the triggers, you know? Sometimes the triggers are actually worse than just, you know, having more grade 2 options in my deck. Especially when one of our superior call options is Devil Summoner that will not be able to superior call grades above grade 2. So that is something to consider. It is a bit of an unorthodox deck. Usually Legions is about grinding, that's like the meta game. But this deck, it's definitely not. It's about just timing and going for the kill. Our opponent only has 1 intercept at 4 damage, and they, you know, might have a few PGs, but I think this is the golden opportunity to go for a game. There's no time better than now, so let's go for it and give them that final rush. So here, you know, I think the Devil Summoners are solid. The mate is really good, and Mason's good because we have Mason. Yep. So yeah, here we're just gonna Legion back non-triggers because we do want a superior call the Devil Summoner. We do want to get something consistent off the Devil Summoner, and that's the game plan. Because like, what happens if you check 2 heals, right? You know, you don't have intercepts, you don't have much PG options anyways. You know, it means nothing. It means nothing to me. I am going to call out the Silver Blaze. Silver Blaze after the battle can just chuck itself back to the deck, which means that I can superior call it back, just in case our opponent hits a heal or something and I need to scale up beyond those numbers. So here, our Frozen OGLE, be careful with which skill you use. The Break Red and the Legion does the same thing, but definitely the Frozen OGLE is not. We're just going to superior call the... And we still whiffed, but I guess that's the reason why I showed you that it's important to not Legion back grade 3s. That's 1 PG. Our opponent has only shown 1 so far, so 3 more. We're going to toss the Dudley Mason, and I'm going to call out the mate, because the mate can then do its own thing again. So draw trigger, I'm going to put it here. That's 2 PGs. The mate's gonna swing. That's 3. Again, be careful with your counterblast. You know, we used up all 5 counterblasts, so you know, just be wary. Pulling out that Devil Summoner. Hopefully, we top deck this time. Nice, and we can scale up to hit over that heal right now, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Boom! Devil Summoner, really important piece. I just love that card. And that is game. So even if your opponent hit the heal, that's 26. Our rear column is 31 plus 5 is 36 plus 10 is 46. We can definitely hit over that 6 damage heal, and that's just how the deck works. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this showcase. Again, it is, I guess this video is a bit shorter, but let me know down below if you want to see more gameplay of SpikeBrothers. I hope that you can kind of take some of the concepts from this play and apply it yourself. You know, if you see something that I'm not doing, let me know as well. And you know, if you saw something that you didn't do, then give it a go. So appreciate it. Before we end this video, I would like to thank our member Kamui Novo Grappler for supporting the channel, and of course you as well. And if you want to keep supporting the channel, of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already to follow up with these videos and the Vanguard Zero in general. And I can't wait to see you next time. So thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you soon. Bye.